In this tutorial, we're going to cover how to fill a text with image in Photoshop. We can either do a single image or we can fill the individual letters with different images themselves. Go ahead, go to Canvas, go to Fill Image with Text and grab that Images in Text Assets. Images in Text Assets, once you unzip it, has 6 images in it. So we're going to use those to play with to create our images today. So let's go ahead, go to Photoshop. I'm going to close these down. I'm going to go ahead and we'll start with a single image. So let's go File and Open. Go to where you have downloaded those images and grab the one called Nebula and say Open. Now Nebula we want to go ahead and turn sideways a little bit. So let's go ahead, go Image, Image Rotation, and 90 degrees clockwise. So you'll see down here we're looking at it at 33%. So this is really a really big image. If we go to Image, Image Size, we see that this is a 26 by 14. So this is a ginormous image. We're not going to play with the size for now. I'm just going to zoom in, Control Plus, and let's go ahead and create our clipping mask. Let's go ahead, grab our horizontal type tool, and we want it to be Impact, Regular, 300. We want to be left aligned, and you can either do black or do white, either one. So I'm going to go ahead and click, and I'm going to type the word space. And that looks pretty tiny. I actually want 700. That'll fill it better. There we go. We want a really big, wide font because that is what will show the picture through. So you don't want really a skinny sans serif. It doesn't work quite as well. Alright, we want to make sure that we have, go ahead and unlock that background layer. The text layer has to be underneath the photo that you want to clip to the letters. So make sure you reorder those. I'm going to go ahead and go to my photo layer, right click, and do Create Clipping Mask. And now I've got this clipping mask. It made the word space, which is pretty awesome. I can do a few other things with it if I want to. I can go down here to FX, my effects, and I can play with adding things like drop shadows. Make sure that you are on the text layer, not on the photo layer, or you won't be able to see what you're doing. So I'm going to grab my drop shadow. I can change my size. I can change my length. I can add strokes to it. There's a lot of different things depending on what you want to do to create kind of a different look and feel. And if you go ahead and do File, Save As, if you save it as a ping, it will retain this transparent background and you can put it on something else. Or for our purposes, go ahead and save it as a PSD, and nebula.psd is all you need for that one. Alright, so relatively simple to do it with one letter. It's a little more complicated when we've got a lot of different images. So let's go File, New. Let's go ahead and make a print and letter, and go ahead and make it landscape instead of portrait, and create. Let's do a file, save as, and let's call it moon.psd. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and for this to work, each layer, each piece of type has to be on its own layer so we can clip separate things to it. So let's grab that horizontal type tool and let's drop this one to 300 and this time make the text black. And I want to go ahead and make a big M. I'm then going to go over here to my layers palette. I'm going to right click, duplicate layer. Now you can't see it because it pasted it right on top. Go grab your move tool and grab that M, slide it over, grab your text tool, delete, make it a big O. I'm going to go ahead to my layers palette over here and right click, duplicate layer because I need 2 O's, take my move tool and move it over one. One more time, going to go to my click out. I'm going to click on my O, duplicate layer, going to move it over, grab my text tool, and make it an N instead. So now every single one of my letters, you'll see, is on its own layer, and that's what we want it to be. So the next thing we need to do is to get the images that we're going to put in there. So let's go to File and Open and go to your folder and control click the images that you want to use to paste into your different letters. I've given you, I think, a couple extra. And then say Open. And they're all going to open on different tabs. So I've got my moon, my engine, my moonwalk, my night launch. So now I need to go ahead and close my nebula up so we don't see it anymore. Alright, so I need to decide what am I going to put in the M. I'm going to go ahead and put this launch on the M. So I'm going to go to, with my move tool, grab that layer and drag it up over my moon.psd till it changes. I'm going to drag it down, and because I want to put it on my M, I'm going to lay it kind of over. I can adjust it a little bit. Then I want to go to my layers panel, grab that layer and put it right above the letter M. I'm going to do my right click, create clipping mask, and now that is attached to the letter M. And I can use my move tool and move the image depending on what I want to appear through that letter. So let's do that for the next one. I just used Night Launch. I'm going to close it. I'm going to grab this one that says Moonwalk. I'm going to grab Moonwalk, the layer, up here to Moon till it changes, bring it down, and I'm going to go ahead and move it right over my O a little bit. Take my layer, bring it down over O, right click, create clipping mask, and I can use my move to change where that's going to be. Alright, so I'm going to close Moonwalk. I'm going to grab Mars, come up, drag down, kind of decide what you want to put in there. I'm going to put that above the other letter O, right click, create clipping mask, and I have that one, and we have one more to go, which I'm going to use this engine. So grab the layer, up here to Moon, down here to N, right click, and create clipping mask. So now I've created a different image in every single letter, which is pretty cool. I can then take and do a drag select, and I can group them. I can do a couple other things. For now, I'm happy with how it is, so I'm going to go to Image and Duplicate, and I'm going to call this Moon Flat, because I want to go ahead and flatten all those layers down. So I'm in the one called Moon Flat. I'm going to go to Layer and Flatten Image. So now I have one single image, and go ahead and unlock that. But it also grabbed the white layer on the back, so I don't necessarily want to do that depending on what you're doing. I can always go through, grab my background magic eraser tool and erase all that white, which makes it pretty easy. I can then go ahead and grab my effects, and maybe I want to add a drop shadow. So I can play with that. Depends on what you want to do with it. The size obviously helps you determine. You've got an angle as to which angle you want it to be at. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, because remember how size your letters. Maybe add a inner glow. If you go to inner glow, you get all your different types of things you can work on. So look, now it's really obvious. It's got that glow going on. If I want to, I can go ahead and add a new layer down below and go down here, do a solid color, choose black. So I've got that on there. So there's quite a few different things you can do with this type of effect. Go ahead and do a file, save as, name it moonflat.psd, and that's the one you're going to turn into Canvas. And that's how you fill a text with an image in Photoshop.